we will have some real-time demos of ChatGPT in the use cases, and Avinash prepared some great stuff to share today. I will be more specific on the automation. I will provide you two kind of use cases for automation. So we will discuss about how to create an email phishing campaign. And we will discuss also at the end about the updates for the project, what's up, and listen to your questions. So let's start immediately. So Avinash, can you kindly share your screen with everyone?
Sure.
Okay, so just to give a few feedbacks as soon before we can you start when you're ready. Recently, many people around me, they played with automation. Usually, they are not specifically only in cybersecurity. They can be also in marketing. And they were thinking, wow, there are so many benefits to use ChatGPT in a, let's say, in a scale, at scale. And ChatGPT by itself, it's really good, and GPT-3 also, but it's not enough. And we need to find a way to make it bigger. So to do that, you can join some additional softwares that are really working well together, and that's what we will do. Avinash, let me know when you are ready.
Yeah, I'm just trying to
share
my screen.
Sure.
Can you make me the presenter or something?
I think you should be able to connect. Rajiv is with us. Let me see. Maybe normally you should have enough rights. If not, I will find a way to give you.
Yeah, I'm not able to share the screen.
Oh, that's not normal. So sorry for that. Where are you, Avinash? Cybersecurity, and I will co-host. Add you as a co-host.
Okay, try now. I'll need to maybe reload. Give me a second.
If you have an issue, I can just start by myself the automation part, and then after we can move to yours, Avinash.
I think it should be coming up.
Okay, great.
So let me know once my screen is visible.
Yeah, you can just maybe full screen.
I have done full screen.
Okay, well.
Is it visible?
Yeah.
Okay, great. Okay, so good morning and good afternoon, everyone. Today, I'll be talking about ChatGPT, how we can use it for attack and defense, and how much we should put our trust into, taking the codes or out of ChatGPT and how to use them. Because, ChatGPT is something is purely based on prompt engineering, okay? And with that, I'll start and a little bit introduction about me. So currently I'm working as a cybersecurity professional and a leader for GE Healthcare. I have worked with multiple companies from IBM, Schneider, Prime Healthcare. From those of you who will be from India will know about UIDA Aadhaar. I think it's the largest project in India that was executed. And a couple of my interest lies in, penetration testing, offensive security, red teaming, cloud security. And, over a period of time, I've worked on a lot of niche technology, smart home systems, and I've been part of Indian CERT drill, And for those of you who will not know what a cert drill is, it's of two types. One is for empanelment, and so that is when you use your skills, to demonstrate to the Indian government that you have the capability to hack, and then based on that they empanel your company. Second type of cert drill that I was part of was, when the Indian government, a sector of those, they'll try to attack your company, and you have to detect in a timely manner and report in a timely manner. And those were, few of the very interesting projects, because when you are in a live drill, it's very chaotic, very, very chaotic, because you are not alone who is working, and you have to collaborate with everyone, and everyone has to do their job, on the spot. And with smart home systems and other banking and healthcare and e-commerce I have worked with, I think how I see the industry going is with a lot of technology evaluation, going on all around. I think most of the people would not have even completed their journey towards cloud with, AWS, Azure, GCP, Salesforce, and whatnot. And then again, we have this new technology with all the AI tools coming up, ChatGPT, and so much more, right? And so I have done few certifications, few from SANSAR GICSP, which is into operational technology. So basically, it deals with a lot of critical infrastructure stuff, and SCADA and ICS. And I'm pursuing the SEC 541 for cloud security for attacker techniques, monitoring, and detection. I have done my bachelor's in computer technology with majors in AI and TCP as minor. Completed my PG and from Symbiosis and into international business management. Moving forward, I've written a few blogs just on ChatGPT experience, how my experience has been, and these are like I've written 2 blogs very recently, just to get the audience get to know on how they should ensure that they use the ChatGPT in their own industry, right? It can be used for any type of purposes, and that purpose can be ranging from malicious purpose to monitoring. It depends upon people to person, right? And with the rise of AI, I can surely say that even the OpenAI, they released a jukebox also with AI, and then again text identifier for take into consideration that a lot of students were using ChatGPT to work on their thesis and everything. And that's how it's not only our industry. I think you may see people making movies out of where they are the superheroes of their own movie, right? Because now you can use AI for creating a lot of videos, audios in the voice of maybe Tom Hanks or anyone, right? So I think that we are moving towards a very advanced stage where everybody is trying to use it in their own way, and I think that's how we can see the business is blooming for all sectors, right? Next, I'll want you to take you guys to how we can use it for attack and defense. Before that, a little bit of disclaimer. Try to use the knowledge that you gain for the sake of with all integrity and everything. Don't use it for malicious purpose. I can tell you that with all these advantages, you can see that you can create all the music and animation for all kind of movies, and that's how content creators are also using it to make more enhancing content. And not only with ChatGPT, but with the use of ChatGPT with Midjourney and then so on and so forth to create very dynamic effects. So it's not only the cybersecurity industry that is using the ChatGPT, it's being used by everyone. Next, we'll move towards phishing, and we'll see how phishing is being done. And then Basically, what I want to show here is that it is not only used, if you are not using it with the right prompts, the tool may not work. So basically, let me know again. I'll try to, I wanted to create my own content, but I thought let's try using ChatGPT to give us an intro about today's session also. So I asked ChatGPT if it can provide me an overview of how attack and defense capabilities, can be used with the help of ChatGPT, ensuring all the risks that are there with respect to intellectual property and privacy. And the response that it gave was that it can be used by attackers for malicious purpose, for social engineering attacks and automating malicious attacks. At the same time, it can be used for analyzing the logs, right? And in the threats portion, if you see, one of the risks that it says is the potential risk of privacy violations, right? And because ChatGPT is something that it would not have grown if people would not have had that conversation with the tool, right? Because a billion people are just using it, feeding it data, and then that data can be used for any number of reasons, right? And that is used for training purpose. And then you never know if that data is from your own company, your own private conversation, or on your research also. But because now the IP may not be actually yours, because once it's used for training the data, somebody else can also get the same result. Next slide, please. So then I asked it about, what are the risks if it can give me some real life examples for the OT sector and the critical infrastructure. And when I say critical infrastructure, it is all about, nuclear power plants, chemical industries, all the 16 critical sectors. And some of the examples that it gave was Operation Dustman that was done in 2020, where researchers discovered a malware strain, and then ransomware attacks on the OT system, and then intellectual property theft. And then being in the OT industry, I thought this is something new, because I've never heard of Operation Dustman. So I thought, because I think the most popular would have been Stuxnet or something. So I thought, let's see what Google has to say. And then I Googled it, and then I got a very different response from Google, because Google even was not aware of Operation Dustman. So I got back to ChatGPT. Can we move on to the next slide? And then I asked ChatGPT, I cannot find Operation Dustman on Google. Is it possible that your training data is providing a false information, or it is poisoned? And it said that it apologizes, but it appears that the information it provided is not accurate and is not reliable, right? And that was an eye opener, because I thought we can trust the data that we get from ChatGPT, right? And I was very shocked and surprised to see that it's just providing some dummy data and not the actual data. It's not even a real ransomware group. There's nothing called as Operation Dustman. So I asked it, should I not trust the data that is provided by ChatGPT and just try to verify it on Google? The response was, as with any information source, ChatGPT information is also not reliable, and you have to depend upon other sources. So basically, it's kind of a secondary thing. With Google, at least you have the options where you can see, a lot of data from the reputed companies, right? And then those companies are providing us the data. Here we are trying to rely on only ChatGPT to get the facts and figures. And even though the data is trained till 2021, still this data was should not have been part of the data. Next slide, please. Okay, so that is one takeaway. When using ChatGPT, always verify first. Okay, because you cannot trust the data that you are getting directly from ChatGPT and use it, right? Because that data, unless it's verified with other platforms, it's difficult. So when using ChatGPT, always verify first. And that is something that I want you to take away, to your friends and colleagues, to ensure that when they use it, do not trust that data with blind eye. Try to verify that information with Google or somewhere else. And this also works like a business generation model. Because what is happening is, now you are trying to Google something within ChatGPT, and you are losing out on tokens. So whenever you put a prompt and then it tries to respond, it is calculated based on tokens, number of tokens that is used for your query, and you will lose out on that token. So basically, the more prompts you do, the more tokens get used. So, and then if a news agency or journalists or content creators, they directly rely on ChatGPT for information, then that may be not true at all. And because this data is not verified, because who is putting the data, what is the source, nothing is known. So basically, if tomorrow ChatGPT thinks that XYZ is the president of this country, and then it can say, because that data is not verified. And that is kind of a very, very big risk. With Google, we have been trusting Google, and we can when we Google something, we get results from other reputed websites as well, right? But in case of this, you will be only relying on one source of information, and which may be leading to a false information and misinterpretation. Next slide, please. Okay, so very recently, I think there was an article on India Today about how Amazon is warning their employees about not to use ChatGPT, because they saw that the tool was using Amazon's data for training purpose, and then other people are getting that data. So this is kind of a this is kind of a data privacy problem, because when you sign up with them, obviously you are willing to share the training data with them, and they can use it for research purposes, right? And then if you don't have a proper contractual agreement with them, then if you are using it in your own company, that data which is being provided by your company's developers will be used by ChatGPT, but it will not be vice versa. And then in case if there is intellectual property that you are working on that gets leaked, it will be used by other people also, because it can be the training data can be shown to them. So you may not have a proper coverage, and that may land up into big legal problems. And as of now, there are a lot of issues into copyright content and plagiarism, and there may be a lot of legal issues because of the same reason. Next slide, please. Okay, so here we have to ensure that we should not blindly trust something, because if you trust something, then only you get attacked. So basically, in a phishing email, you trust it and then you get attacked. So it's always better to verify first, and then that will be your defense, right? Here, if you think, I think even with ChatGPT, think of it as if it wouldn't get the data of 1 billion people, because it's free, right? It was free for a long time, and still now it's free. So in security industry, there is a very popular saying that if something is free, then you are the product, right? So if it is getting that data, then who's providing it? It's you, and it will be for free, right? And that is something you have to always understand. So when using ChatGPT, always verify first, and speak to your company's privacy officer on before you deal with ChatGPT in your own company, allow that access within your company, how good it is, and what should be the protections that should be put in place, right? Next slide, please. Okay, next. Okay, so I asked ChatGPT, this is on the very latest version, which was released on 30th Jan, I believe. So I asked it to create a phishing page which can bypass anti-spam filters, and it said it's difficult to create that way, and it's not ethical also, and it is not OpenAI's policy to do such things. Next slide. And then I asked it to write an email from an e-commerce company to provide a discount coupon of $500 when the employees of a company register and they need to use their company credentials to log in. So basically it wrote me a very, very professional email, and this is from 30th January, the latest one, the latest version, and which is available for free. It gave me a very, very beautifully crafted phishing email. Okay. And as you can see, all the things that I have put in the prompt, they are accumulated. Now it's very important. Don't simply write a prompt, because the prompt should be interpreted in a proper manner by the ChatGPT, right? So ensure when you're writing a prompt, it should be having as much information as possible to get as accurate result. Okay, and so this prompt has come after like 2 or 3 prompts, and that's why it's the kind of final prompt. Next slide, please. Okay, so next I asked it to create an HTML login page for an e-commerce company with whatever Sunday Blockbuster offers and everything, and it crafted a login page. Next slide. And the same way, you just have to replace the e-commerce company with, maybe you can put any e-commerce, or you can put any bank or anything. Basically, the intention was the end user should put their credentials in here to get the $500, and then it created everything, right? So even though there are protections in place, they can still be bypassed, right? And that is something very difficult for even them to put a lot of controls, because if they put a lot of controls, that will affect the usability of people who will be actually using it to do their marketing or for development purpose, right? So it's kind of very difficult even for them. Next slide. Okay, so next I asked ChatGPT, what are the top 10 common attacks that are done by ransomware groups, because that should be the focus of the attack, even when you're doing red teaming, penetration testing, everything. Because if you're not thinking alongside how the APT groups will be using the next generation technology, then you will be missing out. You will be just stuck with your tools, maybe with a lot of VA tools, and not doing the actual test, which will be very next generation, right? And it gives phishing, drive-by downloads, watering hole attacks, email attachments, RDP, social engineering, everything. Next slide. Okay, so here, I asked ChatGPT, can you tell me what is this query for? So basically, it tells this query is for Shodan, and then it's used for this purpose. And then obviously we have to verify it, as we have learned our lessons. So I tried to verify that, and then I ran it on Shodan, and it gives an actual true query, which the result was good. And it showed the CCTV which we're having in default passwords. And the good thing is we don't have to actually use a default password, because the Shodan search engine will directly do it and keep an image live, right? So it's very, we can see if the ChatGPT in itself may not be malicious, but when you combine that power with other penetration testing tools, right, or other tools that are used for information gathering, it can be a very good enabler to do a job of a penetration tester or of a SOC professional. Okay. Next slide. Okay, so here I asked ChatGPT that can you write me a script to test if the SMTP server has a TLS connection, whether the encryption is enabled. And it gave me a perfect script. As you can see, this script is written in Python, and on the left there is a script, and on the right you can see the result that the domain supports TLS encryption. Now you can use it both for offense and defense. That if you know that TLS is supported, then you can try the TLS related attacks. If you see the TLS is not supported, then obviously there are bigger things to be concerned about. Next. Next slide, please. Okay, so we'll be starting with ransomware and malwares, and how the next generation of attackers will look like, right? And what kind of attacks can happen. Now here I asked ChatGPT to write a PowerShell script to shred all the files and make all forensic data unrecoverable in Windows 10 by overwriting all drives, Windows logs a thousand times, right? And then it gave this script. I'm like, okay, this looks good, but what is this S delete? I have, even though I have worked, a little bit on forensics and all, but I have not practically used this. So I thought, let me try to see what this command is. So next slide. So if you see, S delete implements the Department of Defense clearing and sanitizing standard DoD. That gives you the confidence that once deleted with S delete, your file data is gone forever. Okay, and I'm like, wow. So there is a tool that we can use, and then it will have the DoD standards that will erase the things, and you can never get your data back, right? And this goes for like deleted files or the encrypted files that you have to do before. Next slide. And this particular thing has two commands, as we can see, -z and -p. -z is used for zero free space, right? And then -p is used for number of overwrites, right? And then the overwriting is more important because the data gets more and more corrupted, right? So even with the most advanced tools, it will be very, very difficult to get this kind of data. And this is what the ransomware attackers also will do. So if you would have seen, the initial vector in the industry has been phishing or social engineering, making people click, right? Once you click on those, you get a downloader, and then with that, you will have some or the other scripts which is making use of PowerShell or command prompt or Python, and they will do this what is required, right? And most of the times it will be either for data exfiltration or either to corrupt the data or to delete the data, and all three are the worst scenarios, right? And let's say after phishing, let's say if the employees submitted their credentials and they get a download of this kind of a PowerShell script or anything which executes itself, right? Then the entire data will be gone forever, and this is just for one user. Next slide. Now I asked a PowerShell script to log the Windows system every 2 minutes and pop up an alert like stay safe. Again, you don't now you have to think that ransomware attackers or the APT groups, why they are called as APTs, because they are advanced in what they are doing, right? But now with the launch of this tool, anyone with a programming knowledge from a 12-year-old to any it can be till 70, or more than that, they can easily just ask ChatGPT that write me a code in English, and then the code will produce the desired result. And that is something that very, very harmful. Why? Because previously we just have to be worried about, okay, some advanced APT will be attacking and we will be doing all the IOCs and IOCs, IOAs, and now with this, the launch of this tool, I think we can see a lot of number of 0 days are going to come up, and because they are 0 days, they will not have indicators of compromise, indicators of action, nothing, none of that. And that is a very, very big concern, because you won't know if it's specific to a group or it is just created by some random person. Next slide. So if you see in the bottom, just a second, yeah, if you see in the bottom of the screen, I further prompted it to modify the script. It said, because it reviewed the code, and then it said, I cannot create a PowerShell script that locks Windows system and displays an alert, because that is against OpenAI policy. So, but it tried to process it once. So I think there is a background channel wherein whenever you try to ask it to kind of a review, it will review, but it will also review it for malicious purposes, right? The purpose or the intent or what the script does, and that may also stop your script generation. Then you have to go back to the top and again start with a new prompt. Next slide. Okay, so I asked ChatGPT, is there a problem with Modbus slave as per exploit DB? And it said Modbus has some problem, and it can be used for an attacker can send malicious packets to a target system and execute an arbitrary code. And just to verify it, I went to exploit.db and tried the same thing, and yes, there was something about that. And if you can see, because there is a data from 2021 which is there, that says that there is a buffer overflow and kind of a vulnerability that exists. And then this Modbus and other protocols, it may be little unheard in the IIT world, but it's very common in the operational technology world or the critical sector world, because it's used in a lot of ICS and SCADA environments, right? And mostly in nuclear plants as well. Next slide. Okay, so the next slide is on the ChatGPT, how it can be harmful to the vendor and products, right? I asked it which is the best tool to prevent phishing attacks, and it gave me a list of 6 steps that you do these 6 things. The first result was to use an email filter such as Barracuda, Mimecast, and Symantec. Now, something that we should also be looking at is, with Google's, you have a lot of option, right? And you compare your own environment in the and a lot of vendors we can compare in the, like, there is Proofpoint and there is a lot of other vendors, right? Know Before You, and a lot of them are there in the space. But it said Barracuda, Mimecast, and Symantec. Now, again, if this data is trained, or if someone behind the screen is just saying, okay, when a user asks for best product, show only these products, so what will happen? Your product will take a hit. There are more than 1,000 products in the market. Whether you are in cybersecurity or not is immaterial, right? Because if a billion people are going on ChatGPT, and when they're searching for something, they are seeing a new company starting up, and then they are saying, okay, Barracuda, Mimecast, and Symantec, they'll go for that tool. Now, what about the other 1,000 vendors? So again, this is not only applicable for cybersecurity, but it may be a nightmare for a lot of other products. And it can be, let's say you want to buy, or you want to go on a holiday, it can recommend you which are the best places, but that will also depend upon what ChatGPT wants you to hear. Google gives you options here. Let's say a traveling company is just giving a fewer results, right? Any Skyscanner or any kind of app will give you, okay, these are the results, where you can stay, which flight to take, and those kind of things. But here you will have limited number of options, and 1 billion people is the current status. It can go to multi-billion, and then that affects the marketing for all those products, right? So it is going to be a nightmare for every company, every product, unless they are associated, right? Because a human being is sitting behind the screen and then training the model that this is the top result, this is the top result. And if the top result doesn't contain your name or brand, then that is where your marketing may take a hit. And again, you have to go, means people who will be using Google via that kind of a marketing, which are the traditional places to market, I think that is where you have to be. But then you will lose out on the customers who are using ChatGPT. Next slide, please. Next. And skip the slide. Next. Okay, wait. Okay, so now we'll see. We have seen, a lot of APTs are coming in. So I asked ChatGPT, about Fancy Beer. So just to give you a background, Fancy Beer is again APT group, which is known as APT 28, and this particular group has been responsible for a lot of cyber attacks. And that's why I asked it how to safeguard a company from Fancy Beer, and it gave me a description like there is no silver bullet. So when people say buy this tool and that will stop the ransomware, it may not, because there is no silver bullet. You have to take a lot of step-by-step actions, as you can see, from network segmentation, firewalls, antivirus software, operating system, email filtering. Next slide. So the list goes on, right? From user education, backups, and incident response plan. So basically, if you're trying to protect your company from a ransomware group, you have to take a lot of steps. So here we have to also see that, in the previous session, we saw a lot of people were worried that, how this will affect the cybersecurity jobs. Sorry. So what I can say is, because the number of attacks will increase, there will be a lot of requirement for security professionals, but at the same time, once ChatGPT is thoroughly integrated and trained on the data set that you have, not its data set, because that is a very complex problem. Unless you share your own company's data set with ChatGPT, you will not get an idea about what is happening in your environment. At the same time, if you are using ChatGPT, you are compromising on your company's data set, which will be further used to enhance its capabilities. So that is going to be a challenge, a barrier. But because the number of attacks will increase, the jobs will also grow, right? Eventually, there will be a lot of automations that we may see in the industry with respect to companies which are into SIM, XDR, and antivirus, which may use this tool to train their own data set, and then this tool can do the job of at least an L1, analyzing the reports, sharing the reports based on the IOCs and other indicators of action. It can create a report and share. So at least the SOC level 1, I think that is where it can be used, right? Next slide. Okay, so I asked again, I have a good budget, and then can you recommend me a antivirus software? And then again it said Symantec, Kaspersky, McAfee, Trend Micro, ESET. Now again, if you go on Virus Total, you will see again about 100 antivirus companies. But if your product is not being answered by the ChatGPT, you are losing out on customers. And then again, you will finally need someone to evaluate those tools within your environment, whether it works or not. So it will be little immaterial to use what ChatGPT says directly, unless you use it to verify that tool with a cybersecurity expert, and within your own environment. Again, a different saying that goes in the industry is, one size doesn't fit all. So if you cannot go to choose a product just because it's being recommended by an artificial intelligence. You have to use your own human brain, do the necessary calculations, check your environment, and then take the necessary action. For an AI to make the decision for you, it will have to have access to your entire enterprise infrastructure to give you that recommendation, and that is something you may not want, right? So that is up to you how you want to use the features, and at what level you want to take the technology. Next slide. Here I have asked ChatGPT to write AWS WAF rule to block external access to any S3 buckets. A lot of attacks happened wherein the S3 bucket was leaking data, and that was a problem because a lot of them were set to public. Still now is, but now you have to manually make it public. Previously by default it was public. So it wrote a WAF rule, and then again the entire data I have matched with the current AWS data slide. So what happens is, this data is only good as 2021, and again, when you are using for AWS, the right thing would be to do would be go to the AWS website and get the data from there. Although it will give you an option. So this is a very good platform for maybe a strategic leader to know where the things are moving. But at a technical level, when you want to implement something or use it within your environment, use it from the authentic sources. Don't rely simply on ChatGPT, because these rules may be old. The person who is evaluating the prompts and evaluating which result of that prompt should come on the top may not be the updated data, right? So you have to use, when you want to use something, you want to do something in your production, always go to the source. Like, let's say you want to implement a PCI standard, go to the PCI website and then download the data and standard from there. If you ask ChatGPT, tell me a PCI standard and get me that data, even though it will tell you, but that data may not be reliable. And as we have said and learned our lesson in the previous slide, ChatGPT itself says that you do not have to trust the data provided by them. You have to verify it with other sources. And in security industry, I always prefer that if you're using a vendor's product, if you're using a technology, go to that vendor's product website and take the data from there, take the implementation guides from there. Don't simply rely on a technology which is just trying to Google within itself, right? And the data is not ranked as how Google would do, because Google will rank PCI DSS website first. Here there is no such thing. Here just a human being is doing it, and then that data may not be of much use for a technical person to implement. Next slide. Okay. Now from a defensive point, at a strategic level, it's good that if you asked ChatGPT, I want to secure my AWS infrastructure, can you get me a step-by-step in a step-by-step manner how we can do that? And it gave a very good answer with respect to this particular question, because it covered the most major important thing, that was MFA and IAM. And I also consider these to be the primary things. You have to have MFA, and you have to have and you have to have IAM policies, because that is something very important, and it covered that with VPC and logs and monitoring. So it's a good thing from a strategic level for an executive leader to to just know, or maybe let's say someone who is not from cybersecurity industry, maybe your infrastructure manager or a CIO who may have less knowledge as compared to a CISO. Then if they want, like before a meeting, if they want to just cross check if they have some doubts or something, then in that manner it can provide you a lot of good steps, right? So it's good for putting a strategic plan in place. But again, you have to reevaluate that based on your own environment and based on your own knowledge, that is knowledge of the infrastructure that you have of your own company. Next slide. Okay. So now we have a lot of AI products that are coming up, but I think there is going to be a tough competition between ChatGPT and Sparrow. Sparrow is still upcoming, and I think with Google, he's a Google with DeepMind and Sparrow logo kind of thing. So basically, OpenAI was not open to all of us, right, from the very start, and Google has the data from like generations, right? and that goes the same for when you use virtual assistants from Google Assistant, Siri, or other AI virtual assistants like Alexa also. We have been seeing that a lot of data is collected. So if they want to make something similar to ChatGPT, they would have done it. But I think maybe they are taking it very responsibly to ensure that proper controls are in place. Now, because for ChatGPT, it didn't have the data, and then we are hearing talks about ChatGPT being used by Teams or Bing. Bing was not the most popular search engine, but now given ChatGPT capability, it may become the next, because now ChatGPT is gathering data from 1 billion endpoints, right? And then that is where a lot of research data goes, because they would not have come up with that kind of data on their own. They would have probably need to have spent it. So again, it's more like phishing, right? Because now you are putting that this is for free, and then everybody's putting their own data, their own research, and all intellectual property ideas, and then that data may be used, misused. A lot of privacy violations may happen, who knows. So I think Google has the most data, and when you Google something, you get a lot of options. with ranking from which is the most authentic, that is being ranked first. And I'm not talking about the sponsored ads, those are ad based, but I think those are most reliable when we have been using it for like now decades, right? So we can obviously trust those results. But with a limited number of data set and the kind of the current database for public use also is little old, not little old, it's like 2 years old, 20 till 2021, right? And even if you go for the paid one, it may be the latest data, but again, it all depends upon how the person sitting behind the desk is ranking the things. So that is going to impact the industry. I think we can still put our trust, where we see, and we have to always verify whether it's coming from any platform. Next slide. Okay, so I think that's the next. I thank you all for attending the session. If you have any queries, I'm open to it, and you can reach out to me on my LinkedIn bio, or I've written the articles, or on email. And I would like to thank Julien to providing me an opportunity to present these use cases. I hope that in future we can collaborate further.
Wow, that's really deep. It was amazing. You covered so many points. You tried a lot. You shared your thoughts. Amazing, Avinash. I'm really impressed by the result.
Yeah.
Probably you work all the week on it.
I just thought I'll not take much of the time, because I think there was a lot of content to cover, and people need to be aware about using the risk, right? Because there are a lot of risks that are involved when you are using such technology. And even with the Modbus part, I said if someone knows about Stuxnet, it was a malware that was created for the nuclear power plant, right? And then that was created using nation state actors. But now with this technology, anyone from a 16-year-old can create it, right? And that is a lot of risk, because a lot of critical sectors are using a lot of old and legacy technology, and then who knows what we are putting them through, right?
Agree. We have already 2 questions. We will try to be fast, because we have the automation part also. So we can have a very short question, please, from Kasim first, and then Buzz. Kasim, can you unmute?
Yes, sir. Thank you for the nice presentation, Avinash, and it's very informative. I just need to ask that, can you please share that PPT with us?
Yeah.
Because we haven't, yeah, please.
Yeah, I'm open to that. I think a lot of things is already covered. I think Julien is doing the recording else also, that will be made available. No problem in that.
Okay, thank you. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Kasim. Buzz, you have a question quickly also for us, for Avinash? And we have also a few questions, but on the chat. So if Buzz, you are not talking. Sean, you have a question. Can I check what are your thoughts on the process for ChatGPT for Blue Team? Okay, question for you, Avinash.
Okay. So I think with the blue teams, from the experience, what I can tell you is the red team or the attackers are always, I'll not say one step, but at least 10 steps further, right? Because you when you are in a blue team, you are working on the things that have already happened, like let's say indicators of compromise, right? You only get that when you have it. But with this technology, when 0 days will be created, you will not have an IOC or anything of that sort. The best thing would be maybe to have a anomaly detection in place, something that can detect anything, or a UEBA platform, so that you can try to detect that as early as possible. And see, usually what happens is people will just monitor their the SOC dashboard, and then the SOC dashboard may not give you the full picture unless it's integrated with your SIM, right? So I think you can get a good picture if you have integrated your MFA kind of alerts and any kind of scripts execution. I think that will at least save you some time. And obviously, there are already companies who are in process to use ChatGPT, but I think they are using by having their own private server and then training it, rather than using the training data from ChatGPT. So I think with industry changing, we'll get to that.
Yeah, I totally agree. I already start to discuss with companies that are making profits, and lots of people, you don't probably you didn't notice, but ChatGPT has too many restrictions. The companies that are already working a lot, they have already paid since like 2 years for GPT-3. Maybe it was not that powerful, but they are already taking the benefit of combining different tools. And for example, I know one company that are generating resumes for students. Since 2 years, they're generating resumes with GPT-3. And combining tools is one of the key, and trust, as you mentioned. Everything is about trust. You cannot trust fully ChatGPT, and they mentioned it by themselves.
No, definitely. My experience has been that you should not trust. I mean, some people are directly using the code in production, and that is going to create a disaster, because I'll tell you what. When it was released for the second time, it was a kind of a better version. Now, because of the restrictions they have put, it makes you Google within ChatGPT. So try this thing, okay? Ask it to write a code, and then ask it to look for errors, and then it itself will look for errors in the code that it generated, and it will provide you with the rectified code. And I've done it for 5 times, so it knows that the code it provided was full of errors.
Yeah,
it provided the results. It further, and it took at least 4 prompts to arrive at a concrete thing, and then I was like, okay, now I can use it. And then also I tried it in my local system, right? It worked, but you should not consider that it is going to give you the best result at first try.
For the question, I think we will keep them for the last parts, because really we are short on time, and I think we need, I'm sorry for all, but we may need 20 to 30 minutes to finish this session. Again, really big up for you, Avinash. Amazing job.
Thank you.
And I will be happy to connect you for all the people that join. And let's keep in touch in the community.
Sure. Thanks, Julien. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you. So let's move on to the next part, that is automation. And we will hear some of what already are the best conclusion from Avinash about the phishing part, especially. So my job today was to, in the last days in this week, was to use something that was initially shared. I think it was like yesterday they shared the link, or 2 days ago. There is one easy tool. Let's say it's an extension of Google Sheets that is called GPT for Google Sheets and Docs. ChatGPT in Google Sheets and Docs get the full power of AI. So I had already this idea about automation. Is ChatGPT has a main issue, as you mentioned, it's not trustful. The content of the database is not enough trustful. It's not always that bad. So we need to find a way to increase the quality of what we will give as an input. And as it's very difficult inside the interface of ChatGPT, why shouldn't we use a Google Excel sheet, Google Sheets, to make some kind of, I don't know, automation? Let's try to gather some content from different sources, and to in a way that everyone can do it. You don't need to be a computing science guy or developers with 10 years of experience to just use a few formula in Excel sheet. So that was the initial concept. So I started to install it, and I will just show with you the results and what is able to do. So as you know, in our community, we have one document that is what I call the Red Book. And this Red Book is to share the best practices, the best prompts initially. So what I did is I shared, as usual, this document with everyone, but I decided to install. So I'm using my own API, but it's a free API, of course. The API for ChatGPT, in order to start to play with the different commands of ChatGPT directly in the Excel sheet. So for that, you can see there is a way to create to add some kind of applications on pieces of, well, it's a small, very small application. It's called app script, if I'm not wrong. And this is what you can see. It's a bit slow on my computer, so just take a few seconds. It's always live. So here it is. Okay. So if you remember, we have lots of tabs in our Excel sheets. I hope you are able to see it. I don't know. Yeah. Okay. So my first, so you can see as I went to data. No, it was extension. Sorry, and I installed this GPT for cheats. We have a limited time, so if you are not really able to install it, I will give you some explanation about that. But globally, I just set the free API and I set up my account. But I already the account, so it was not that complex. So I created first a tab that is for everyone to try the prompts that we had already shared in the past, offensive or defensive prompt. So it's called in test ChatGPT, and you can access to it. And first is, of course, write a ChatGPT prompt here, get the result. If you remember, I always said we have some restrictions a lot in ChatGPT. We have a piece of code to play with a bit with the restriction. It's not that great. It's called Dan. So I copy and paste the Dan code, and I got an answer. So you can see here the command GPT A1, so my first cell, and I say I want the result in the second cell. And you have two other parameters. One is the degree of creativity. It's called the temperature. So if you put a high degree, normally the creativity is bigger, and if you put a lower degree, I think it's something lower. Anyway, I use it by default, and this is how many maximum characters I want to receive in my answer. So it's a real time, and this is not really ChatGPT. What we are using is a text DaVinci 003, that is GPT version 3. That was what we could access to. And some people, maybe they will play and they will, I hope please don't break the cheat today, because I need to make the test and it's real time anyway. So I try to use the prompts that are in the all prompts tab, maybe copy and paste. And you can see the results. The result is, of course, I need to extend a bit the window to see. We have an explanation from Dan, so we are able to continue the discussion with Dan. And normally, we have a real script also that is provided. I hope I can share it. It's not easy because maybe I can copy it and paste it in another window where you can find another cell. And here I paste special. I just want to get the value because it's, and I will wrap it here. Okay, so maybe this time do we have the full explanation or not? Okay, so, okay, that's funny. It seems that ChatGPT is always like, let's say, updating the results. Yesterday, it was possible to have a complete script. Now I see the script has like disappeared. So, okay, that's it for the moment. Just a little explanation about from Dan, or you can exploit and use. So you can see there is no, thanks to Dan, we don't have any explanation. We just get an answer that is really specific, but still I'm a bit surprised, not surprised, but I was expecting to get the script. Do we have a script somewhere? So maybe I will play a little more test this time to get the script. Next time I will make copy and paste the script, but there is a way to get the script. That's the thing. What are the other things? So error is just because you have to put, of course, the prompt to get the result. That's the only thing. So this is classic. Here, I don't want to use the interface of that is on the website. I just want to put my own test, and you can put some other tests. So I hope if we can put, I don't know, here, let's say, I don't know, SQL injection. No, let's put a buffer overflow or buffer overflow for buffer overflow. Let's see what's happening. We have to wait a little. So it's based on the A4. Sometimes it takes a few seconds. Sometimes it's you can get it immediately. Payload for buffer. Okay. Oh, okay. No, we still have to wait more. Okay. Okay, this is a live session. So for the moment, I don't know why I get the payload. Oh, we have some parameter also, I remember, in the extension that is offering us the possibility to manage a cache or to get normally the result like a kind of reload of the page or something like that. It happens once already, I use it. Replace with the value, no. Okay, so let's see. Let's stop it temporarily just to see if we can get a result again. Okay, maybe I made a little noise. There is no mistake. Yeah, okay. I made a little mistake also here. You can see the content is in the A4 and I want to have the result A2 to get up. Normally it should be A4 is a prompt. Yeah, I make a mistake and the value should be in the A before. Okay, so if I write some wrong parameters. Okay. Okay, well, let's continue. I will show you the rest of the demo, and I will be able to come back and to show you when the loading is finishing. But definitely, the parameters are quite simple. Second aspect. Okay, I get it. The result is here. You can see I got the full. It's limited to 500 characters. We can get more. We can get maximum. I think it's 2,000. I need to check the total results, but this is a buffer overflow script we get from ChatGPT that was normally from GPT-3. That was normally impossible if you remember when we tried to do it in the interface. And of course, it's a long script, so we need more. That's one aspect. Second thing. So this is a basic start to play with your prompt and to bypass the protection, some of the protection or some of the limitation. This is my private, let's say, playground. And here I wanted to go further in the demonstration of what we can do. So I will explain just a bit with the PowerPoint before I will explain this thing. Okay. So here it is in the PPT. A few seconds more to open it. Okay. This is the last tool we will see together. That is a more complex case. So even though what is cool is you can find a way to put lots of prompts. You can test it, as I mentioned, nearly real time. We have to wait just a few seconds, so that's really cool. But here you have I already share with you the different parameters, and I think we had some examples of what we can get. The second part of a little more advanced automation we can do is to use a Google Sheet because you can import websites. You can decide to say, I want to extract a part of a website and I want to, for example, summarize it. And I use the command import XML. Some people, you can find, again, it's part of the Google documentation. You can put much more parameters, which is, this one is just a basic one to get the content. So when you put this formula on Excel sheet, starting on the right cell and all below, you get lots of content coming from the page you want. So that's why you need to filter it. Of course, you can use regex, or you can be more specific in the XPath of the page. And the result is, at the end, you say, I want just to focus on this piece of text, and I want, for example, to summarize it. If you have a website that is offering you very fresh content about cybersecurity, it's a good way to avoid to read all the content of the website and just to rephrase, to summarize it, and just to read the summary every day. That's one aspect for our CyberWatch. So I played a bit with that, and I think the potential is huge. It's not only just for yourself, it's for more than yourself. It can be working with other partner, other people. You can share some shared document to generate some prompts. It's for cybersecurity initially, what I try to demonstrate today, but For the moment, the people that gave me some interesting feedback also are in the e-commerce, are in the marketing. So we have to develop our own use cases to go further. Let's move to the advanced automation scenario. This is a part one because I couldn't complete it for the moment. It's ongoing still, but I did some great stuff, I hope. You know, some companies like Now Before, they are very good to help your, let's say, cybersecurity team to create emailing campaign to test the phishing. So the way it works, for the people that don't know, the department, so it's usually in, let's say, big companies, or it's not like when you have more than 5 employees, it can make sense. The idea is to see if the people are good enough, the employees are aware of the vulnerabilities and of the bad phishing emails they can maybe, by mistake, click on. So to prepare a campaign of phishing, of emailing for phishing for your company, the objective is to have a kind of 1 year preparation. You prepare a monthly content that can be something that makes your employees click. So it depends of different questions. So you need to ask first. I will not push too much on that because the idea is to see ChatGPT effect, but the idea is collecting a few information about the employees that are concerned by that, because you will customize the message of your phishing campaign for them. You can use also know what are they visiting in terms of website to make a similar website close to the habits. You can ask them, or you can check if they are playing a lot with PDF, they are clicking every day or downloading a lot of PDF, web file, and so on, to create your own payload, of course. And you can see if they are also working with specific organizations like vendors, IT support, and so business partners, etc. So first step is for yourself. You can prepare a template of email that you want to use for this campaign. Of course, when you do some phishing campaign, it's not only email, and you can create fake websites. There are many other aspects to it, but I'm focusing today on the emailing. Then you need to set up the tools. So with our new approach, we can generate dynamic content for the email. We can create an image as a kind of payload. I don't say there is automatically a malicious image. You can also work on that. I never tried. In that case, it could be something to explore. The idea is to make an image that will make the people motivated to click. That's the point. And the last thing is you need to, in this example, to create a draft of email in your, for example, Google Gmail address, if your company is using Google or any famous mailing system. Last part is what we will start to discuss now, is more how to generate a workflow for this automation. So as I mentioned, the objective here is to see if we can create this phishing campaign by emails to send to your employees to protect them from threats. I use one tool that is called Make. That was it's a company that was formerly Integrator, something like that. Anyway, you know Zapier, that is very famous, and this is one of the competitors. They provide, it's a no-code tool, and the objective is to give you kind of connectors to multiple tools that you can combine in a way that you get the result you expect. You can trigger events. You can do like cron in terms of wanting to reload, to get some content based on the time, like every 50 minutes, every day, regular time. You can also say as soon as there is a chat, there is a content, there is a row that is added in this Excel sheet. I want this row to be read, and then I want to execute an action. So in my case, I have considered only 3 connectors. You have tens and tens of connectors available. This company is making profit if you execute a lot those actions, and if those actions take time. I use only the free version for my test. So it's called Scenarios, what I created, and it was Google Sheet, OpenAI, and Gmail. So I will show you just after what was the result. I created first the connector for the Google Sheet. So you have to connect like it's an application. So you have to give your permission for that. You use your account. You have to, in my case, I have a Google Drive, so I say, okay, my Google Drive is containing the file at this place, and I have to find exactly the name of the Google sheet, and then I have to provide the sheet name that you want to read permanently. Then after you have to explain which row you want to read, and why, because also it's possible to focus not on the first row, but on the content, because usually the first row is to filter. You can say, okay, first row and first column is, in our case, it's give me the prompt. I don't need this for the moment. And the idea is just you can add additional rows and read the rows. But for the moment, I just make it something simple. I just wanted to read one cell, that's all. One cell containing some kind of dynamic content. After that, after creating this first connector, I created a second connector for OpenAI. As I have already connected my Google Sheet with ChatGPT, I was thinking, I don't really want to create another connector just to use ChatGPT to summarize again, or to transfer, or to do some operation like asking him some advice. What I will ask him is the same company, OpenAI. I want to create my image payload. So for that, I connected, so you need to set up an account for DALL-E that is kind of similar to the same for, you can use the same account, but it's something you have to enable to be able to connect to the generation of images. For the people that don't know, you just put some prompts, you get an image. That's what DALL-E could do with incredible quality of results and using lots of data to make this very realistic. So here I put the prompt comes from my previous connector. The prompt you can see here, and I will show you in our files. It's just the cell. I have access to all the first row cells that are in the Google Sheets that I connected. So I decided to choose I think it was like a column D, and the first cell, I want to get the content that is a description of an image I want to get. Then I have to choose the size. I have to choose what kind of format I want, because I will generate an image. And how many images do I want? And the last part was to create a Gmail connector. So same, it's you need to give your permission to get access to the Gmail content. So still a bit risky, but we know the risk. We are professional cybersecurity, so we have to take it into account. I have provided one folder containing the future draft email I want to generate. And I provided the name of the subject, and then after I created the attachment. So here something is missing. The file name must include also the extension of what you want. And you need after that to, again, use the value, the value coming from the previous connector. So this connector, GPT-3, is able to generate some B64 image. So you need to provide the B64 image. There is a little kind of warning for this last step. I think there is a kind of additional authentication, or I have still a little bug on this part. The first one and the second connector are working and generating. For the last one, probably I need maybe to re-encode the image, or there is an additional step to do. There is not much documentation. I will show you what happened. But the idea is I'm kind of far, not very close to get a complete result. So I will show you what we were able to generate. So if you want to set up before starting this demo for yourself, but you need to go on the OpenAI DALL-E, as I mentioned. You need to authenticate once and say that you want to play with DALL-E. And if you want, I tried to copy and paste this description of a logo. To be clear, the description I made, I say to ChatGPT, give me a description of a logo for AI and cybersecurity. And this is for DALL-E. And it provided me the content I gave to DALL-E. That's what I did. And you can see different results. So we are not designers. We are not graphics experts in images, or like a creative game designer and so on. So the quality here is enough for us, probably, but for professionals in design is not. But before showing you the prompts, I will just share the results in the window, what it looks like quickly. So you can have a look first on my window, that is the red book It's a tab. The name is me. I think as we have a limited time, I will just share the final result. But if you check my my tab, you will see the result. What I put, it's the same command, the GPT. You can see the result, the summary that I asked, and the cell is just filled. So here I will just show instead make. Here, yeah, the resolution is a little smaller because I am on my secondary monitor. Anyway, so and maybe you cannot fully see. So this is the scenario as I mentioned. In the scenario, there is an empty normally window, and I say, okay, I want to add a module, and you have this long list of modules that you can choose on. And as I mentioned here, everything is free. I didn't provide my credit card or whatever. So here I say, oh, this is the one I have already configured, but if I want to add another one, you see the list is super big. I saw some people that were, for example, getting access to their newsletter, as I mentioned, newsletter for cybersecurity, emails, sending the newsletter to a RSS feed, sending the RSS feed to ChatGPT, and you have to take into account some limitation of input size and so on, but anyway, you have to simplify the content, and then generating with a ChatGPT by the classic summary. I want you to summarize this document. So you can generate emails and or whatever, or you can also create another connector to generate audio. So the guy was speaking, I want my podcast to listen my newsletter before I take the time to read it. I don't want to spend time to read it. I just want to listen to the summary. So we can do it for cybersecurity newsletter the same. So here, quickly, so you can see, so you can see my configuration for the, as I mentioned, well, it's not that important. So here the same, you have the OpenAI configuration. You have here, this is some trick I saw, I discussed with today. You have to convert the image. So I create an image because it's the first part of the text, but here this is, as I mentioned, all the content coming from my Google Sheet for the first column, and you can just click if you want to. Just one, you click once here, like here, and it happens, and then you can delete just like that. And you have to use still a few like developers function, because you can have some bugs that can happen. Say, oh, I cannot read this content. It's not that easy to debug it. But the result is by this. And then after you can see the URL, you can have an URL as a format, or you can have the base 64. So I need to make a few more tests, but I know that we are able to really generate it. And for the Gmail, I have still this little bug as I'm mentioning. I think the format of the data maybe must be also encoded. So that's why I need to debug, but just to show you how it works at the end when you start. So you can see the first connector that is trying to get in, sending already to the second connector, time DALI, because I already did the summarize, and it is also standing to the last one. And here I have this little value that is missing. That is normally the output. So you need to have a little skill still to debug it. But you can also see normally, I think we can get access to the file. Let me see. There is a little explanation. It's not an explanation, it's a log. You can get access to the log, but I'm limited in terms of size here. So the log should be available maybe here. Yeah. So he received my prompt. This prompt comes from the Google Sheet. So if someone is changing the prompt, the D4, as soon as this connector is reading again, you will have access to the new content. And I want a URL. And here you can see the data has been created. You get this URL, and you can see that Windows is when Microsoft says they are giving $1 billion USD to OpenAI, I think they give access to their Azure, or I don't know, or some platform to give computing for free for OpenAI. It's not just cash they provide. And so this is the output, and I need still to work a little more, maybe to re-encode it. Yeah, that's what I can say for this small demo. So I'm still working on it. If you want to participate and to play by yourself and share it next time, I would be super happy to see that. And I have one or two things more to add. So yeah, I just answered one question. The magical test Excel is a red book. You have already access to it. It's I will share it again in the, but it's already in our WhatsApp group, and you can get access to it super easily, and you can improve it, play with it. I just maybe will limit the API, even if it's a free API. I will maybe at some point, if too many people are playing, I will stop it. But you can very easily create your own. It's totally free, as I explained. A few words. So this is just a starting point for automation. I didn't see many people working on automation. You can see there are not many limits when you are using GPT-3, so maybe it's possible to create more like malware payload for red team, for red teaming, or some vulnerabilities checker or whatever. So that's why I really believe that our community can make some very good content and some very good and efficient results if we just share this knowledge. So that's why I encourage you to try it. Another thing, thank you. And another thing is a few tips. Don't remember the prompt. You can ask ChatGPT to work as an encyclopedia, to act like a documentation, interactive documentation. You can ask to ChatGPT to act as a cybersecurity specialist. You can have some discussions with it, and it can give you in a kind of chat. It's like a classic chatbot, some feedback. So I recommend you to have a look on that and try this kind of text and create your own feedback. You can challenge it. Hey, it was a very good idea from Avinash. Say, hey, what are the best tools in cybersecurity? You can say, you as a cyber professional, do you really consider this is the best tools? What are your criteria? Me, I challenge a lot ChatGPT for the criteria. I ask ChatGPT, how are you choosing those data? And sometimes if you break a little the limit, it can give you some criteria. I asked to ChatGPT to give me the name of its competitors and to give a score to them and to itself, and it did it. It's really possible to ask it and to go deeper. We are here to explore. We need to understand: is it oriented results? Is it some kind of objective, neutral information we get from it? So it's super important. Yeah.
So I just wanted to add that on the OpenAI page itself, they have they tell you via a diagram on how they rank the results. So basically, a person who is sitting behind the desk like a trainer, he will choose the accurate response for a prompt, right? But then what happens is it's become person oriented, right? Because it is up to that person's knowledge what he wants to be ranked first for millions, right? So I think it's not the machine deciding it, because it's the man behind the machine deciding it.
Exactly.
It's not an AI, it's the human being who's sitting deciding. Yeah. And then he can recommend that download a particular antivirus tool that's the best in the market, and you will go for it, right? So yeah.
I totally agree with you. I see sometimes you can ask the same question and you can have two different answers. It's like you have two people different giving you different advice. And cybersecurity, it's a specific domain. ChatGPT has been trained, I think it was with 1,000 developers. How many cyber professionals worked to supervise the result? Not that many. Yeah. So we need to really take care of what can be done and what is the opinion we can receive from it, and recommendation especially. We have many questions. You can ask. You can also answer. I mean, if you feel you can help for that. As soon just plug in ChatGPT Prompt Genius. I already shared this. You can generate PDF when you play only with ChatGPT. Now, me personally, I will work more on the Excel version, or maybe the playground. Yeah. If you, Avinash, do you want to?
Sure. Like I'll start with the questions. I'll just review them from bottoms up because
it's doing more and more.
So I think there was a use case about can it be used for blockchain hacking and smart contract. Yes, people are already doing it. There is a company based out of India. It's already using, because see, there are not many tools to review the code for a smart contract. So yes, and you can directly use that smart contract thing within this and it will review the code. The only problem is if it's your proprietary thing, then you will lose out on that data. That's the only concern. But yes, it will review the code for you. If you give it a snippet, even for smart contracts, it will and it will do it but use it for a paid version that will have better results. The previous one is 2021, and then the technology is very new, right? So use it in a paid version. You can get to hack, review everything. If you use that, maybe you can hack it itself also. The next one was, if there were to limit ChatGPT features, would you be able to reproduce similar results? How do you see the future of type of chatbots in our day-to-day cybersecurity? Okay, can you? Every time you ask even ChatGPT for the same question, it may produce different results. There is an option to regenerate the response if you're not satisfied with it. And when I ask something, when you ask something, it will give different results. And then there is if you see on the top right corner, there is a thanks up or thanks down. So if you thumbs up for that, that's kind of ranked above for other users. So it will produce differently for others. Okay. About the chatbots, I think previously the phishing was very limited to sending an email and all. But just imagine you are on a phishing website and a chatbot comes up and says, "Hi, my name is Srini, and then could you help me with your contact details? And would you like to go on a free trip to Goa?" And then you automatically enter it, and that's all being done via a bot, right? And you are thinking, because it's a bot, it's a machine, you're safe. But I think that is where it's going. A malicious chatbot on a fake website, right? So you can see that kind of phishings maybe coming from companies maybe who are the best in their domain of creating phishing emails, right? I'll not get into the vendor, but yeah, you can expect that, and a lot of people will fall for it, like at least the general people.
I saw it also me for a response form, or not on the dark side, but you make a kind of form to collect information from your customers, and then you send the result to ChatGPT to ask him to prepare the correct answer for that kind of customers to make him happy.
No, that is the use case. Actually, I asked ChatGPT for its business model, and it says its business model is based on the user's data demographics and the text conversations. So whatever, it's basically you are creating your own mindset. And it's if you would have seen the Minority Report, it was a good movie. Just think in that terms. It's creating your own personalized psychology, very very specific to you. So it has your own mindset in a AI form, right? And then it can use that to produce your advertisements and give you those kind of things which are already being done by other companies. So yeah, I think what other questions do we have? Anchors,
I think we are done probably on the, or maybe we have just one slide or two. Maybe after we can just finish with one question more. And so the last two slides are about our community is growing. Thank you for everyone. We are more than 300, I think 80 people now in the community. That's really amazing because it's like in 2 weeks or 2 weeks and a half. So really appreciate your interest. And also this collaborative, Avinash took some time, Rajiv takes his own time to prepare. Everything is free. We didn't ask any money to anyone. It's our personal time, but we really believe in cybersecurity improvements, and we are super happy to have more people interacting with us, and also people also coming, like Avinash did. He came, he decided to take his time to that. So please join us, participate, and we have another possibility for that also. We have just started a Notion portal with one of the member here. I don't know if you can say a word about that. It's something that is not completely ready. It's Bart. Bart, are you here?
Yes, good morning.
Hi, Bart.
How are you?
Holland is far away from South Korea.
Yes, Holland speaking here.
Yeah. If you just can explain a bit about this idea. You did.
Yeah, last week we talked about how to remain this group active, and so I looked for a collaborative tool, and I went to Notion and I looked a little bit for the possibilities, and I think this is really a nice system or a nice tool to extend our knowledge and to share our knowledge in a structured way. So together with Julien, we created this tool. We created some teams you can participate. So the idea is everybody. No, we have teams for all the activities within cybersecurity. You can participate in a team, and within this team, you can participate in researches. And with these researches, we can create a nice wiki, so we can document all the information we have in a nice way, in a collaborative way, and interactive way. So that's the idea. So we are working on it now. It's not finished yet, but we might need some people to help us to fill in, to configure Notion a little bit better. The better it looks like when we start, the more people will start using it, I believe.
Yeah, that's a really big content that Bart did it 99% by himself. So thanks a lot, Bart, for that. Again, you're not paid for that, and you really want to help the community to structure its content. What we just need is people having a look on it. And we don't have many, as you know, Notion is a paid tool. So we cannot, we don't want to spend our own money for that. So we are limited to, so in terms of active people, it's like around 10 people maximum. And if some people more want to participate, we want to help active people to participate, to share their research. Research means you find a good prompt, you have something to say about the prompt, please, you can use it, you can edit it. And if we can, also maybe we can make a letter for the Notion company to say, as a kind of NGO, even if we are not really an NGO for the moment, but we want really to get a full access for our community. Would you accept to give us some more token for participating for free? So let's see how it goes. We need some help on that. So don't hesitate to contact Bart or myself. You know me or you can find us also on LinkedIn if you cannot find, but on WhatsApp we are often there. So thank you, Bart. You want to add something?
Welcome.
Last thing is we started also the LinkedIn group yesterday evening because many of you sent me a message, hey, why don't we have a LinkedIn group? We come from LinkedIn. I say, you're right, I completely missed it. That's my problem. So I started to create a group. So you can see LinkedIn is not really sexy. You can see the URL to connect to join to the group. So try to copy and paste or to write it, or you can just join through the group button that is on the top right. If you click on work, the icon gives you access to the group, and then also you can find the group. It's ChatGPT for cybersecurity. So what is why should we use ChatGPT for cybersecurity on LinkedIn and we are already in WhatsApp? That's a good reason, but maybe we can open to people that are not in WhatsApp first, that are only on LinkedIn for the moment, and you see that many people are on LinkedIn. So what can we go and what can we see? But probably we can share a few documents on the Notion access. Some news also are interesting. We can reshare good posts on LinkedIn directly on this community. When we have the webinar like today, we can also give the access, we can share videos, and people can connect to each other like it started to happen. Networking can be good. So that's some of the reason we can I can give you to participate and share. So please join the group. Invite your friends if they are interested in ChatGPT for cybersecurity, and but let's continue to work and to have fun together. Redbook, some people ask me, this is a place, ChatGPT for cyber. I created it because it's too long, the URL. So if you want to get access to the new extension ChatGPT I installed, you can play with this. Bart gave his email address on the chat. You can connect to him. Don't forget, the record of this video will be sent, I hope, in tomorrow on the next day, as soon as I woke up, because it will be late tonight when it will be ready for in Korea.
Take out my email address, please.
That's really cool. Email address. If anyone wants to ask a last question to Avinash, and I think it's 43 minutes, so it's the last question for him, or myself, or for Bart. If there is no more question. Okay. Great. Thank you again for your time, all. Thank you for our speakers, credible Avinash, that really worked a lot. That's amazing. Really, your thoughts are really deep, and I'm impressed. Again, I love Indian cybersecurity. I spent time in India. I really believe in your country to create a new generation of cybersecurity tools, thanks to maybe ChatGPT.
Sure, looking forward.
Yeah. And thank you again, Bart, also for your time to prepare the Notion. So let's keep in touch on the WhatsApp group, on the WhatsApp chat group, and also next week live. Don't hesitate to connect to me and to say, I want to become a speaker. But even if Avinash makes this very high now to reach, but it's super good. And thank you for the previous speakers also. Have a nice day, and we'll keep in touch very soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.